We all know and love our favorite sports brands. They are the companies that make working out easier, or us just looking stylish in their sneakers. But weirdly enough, they seem to be a regular target when it comes to conspiracies. Sneakers are involved with way more stuff than I ever knew. Here are sports brand conspiracies you never knew about. Is Tupac alive and well? Many fans can't believe it when one of their heroes isn't with us anymore. They can't accept that these people are really gone. So conspiracies of great musicians being alive and well are always running rampant. Think of all the times people believe they spotted Elvis wandering around some tourist spot. When Tupac died, it was no different. Obviously, people desperately wanted him to be alive and just taking a step back from the public eye. So they clung on to any hope that they could get that the reports of his death might be wrong after all. Even after more than 20 years since we lost him, there are still rumors flying around that he is alive and that he started a life somewhere else. There have been those that said he moved to Cuba or South Africa, and even those that said that he became a spy for the government. People wanted to believe he was still out there. It doesn't help that there were some people saying that Tupac was talking about faking his own death months before he died. He was scared he was going to get caught up in the whole East Coast versus West Coast rap feud that was massive at the time. He was also done with stardom and wanted a quiet life. All of those factors made fans look for proof that he could have faked his own death and that he was alive after he was said to have been. In came the moment where eagle-eyed fans spotted Tupac wearing something very strange during some of his last music video clips that were ever shot. In the clip, he is wearing some Nike Air Jordans. The only catch, those particular shoes were only released a few months after he died. So obviously this has to mean he was still alive when they came out and still making music videos while probably in hiding and creating a life for himself, right? And it isn't the only time he wore shoes that were ahead of their time. In the music video for Toss It Up, he was seen wearing Penny Hardaway sneakers, and those hadn't been released at the time that Tupac was shot in a drive-by shooting either, or even when he died a few days later. Sadly, we do know that most big stars do get gear sometimes long before they are officially released, so it could very likely be the case. But if you want to believe that it is hard evidence that Tupac is still out there, then we aren't going to stop you. We probably couldn't even if we tried. Lil Nas X could be part of the Illuminati or be the devil. Okay, so this one is a little more than a little bit weird, and it even borders on being a bit disturbing, and it seems that that was what Lil Nas X planned all along. It all started with a pair of Nike Air Max 97s that Lil Nas X and the New York-based company MSCHF modified and changed to fit their vision. It is important to note that the Nike company has made it very clear that they have nothing to do with these sneakers and that they aren't involved with them in any way. But these black and red sneakers are said to have real human blood on them, and they cost exactly $1,018. A reference to the Bible passage Luke 10:18, that scripture speaks of Satan falling from heaven. It came online and there were exactly 666 pairs available for sale. It seems to have been all an elaborate plan to create hype around his new music video for Montero, Call Me By Your Name. The music video features Lil Nas X twerking on the devil. Like I said, it was all super weird and kind of creepy, and it really aggravated a lot of people. Some believe that the musician worships the devil or that he is a part of the Illuminati. Then there are those that believe that there are many different musicians and actors that are part of this legendary underground organization and are in fact ruling the world. But it seems like there is an easier explanation, since the singer tweeted that he hoped that there were a lot of conspiracy theories flying around since he worked hard to create them. But he went even further than that. He went on to post a video on his YouTube channel that was supposed to be an apology. It started out that way, but soon it broke away from that and cut to the part of the music video where he was twerking on the devil. It was strange, and still the rumors and conspiracies did not stop even after it became apparent that the singer orchestrated the entire thing. Puma, Adidas, and the Nazis. This one actually has its origin in history, because much of what is believed is actually true. It all began with the Dassler brothers. First, they started the Dassler brothers shoe manufacturers that produced all sorts of sports shoes. The company was actually getting pretty big when the Second World War started. They changed things around in their company to help the war efforts, and they did both join the Nazi Party. So it is a true fact that both of the brothers were actual Nazis, but later the company started to make sports gear for the American soldiers that were occupying Germany. The brothers had some major issues and they decided to part ways and split up the company to each form their own. Rudolf Dassler started Ruda, that later became Puma, and his brother Adolf started Adidas, like his nickname Addy combined with the surname Dassler. But those historical facts kind of stop right there. They did say that the two brothers never spoke again, so it had to have been a really big falling out. Some believe that the root of those issues go back to their time in the Nazis. There are those that believe that one of the brothers did something that the other one did not agree with. There were even some rumors about wartime records that might have been destroyed. It all sounds plausible, but there is no proof. Then there are the conspiracies that say one or maybe even both of the brothers had stayed with the Nazis and that their companies were a big part of this. That both of the companies were a way for the Nazis to keep making money and that it would be the way that they could take over the world. It gets even sketchier from there and at times even more confusing. But it basically comes down to both Puma and Adidas infiltrating the world and that these companies are still friends fronts for Nazis. It doesn't sound super probable, and even if they did start out that way, there's just no way that they could still be part of some massive conspiracy now. There are thousands of people working with these companies, and it has gone so far beyond their founders. They have even worked hard towards things like equality and being social conscious. That doesn't sound super Nazi-like to me, so it seriously doesn't seem realistic. The Olympic logo cover-up. I must admit that this one sounds like it could be the real thing. It started with a team picture that the USA basketball team took for the 2008 Olympics. It was said that they only took an artistic photo and that the company logos had nothing to do with it, but a picture speaks 1,000 words, and this one covers all the Adidas logos. Most of the team was sponsored by Nike, except one player who wore Adidas, Dwight Howard. In the picture, all the players are standing, but the coach is sitting facing the players, and his foot is very conveniently covering the logo on Howard's shoes. Nike sponsored the team's Olympic jerseys, so then there is another little detail where Howard is also the only one holding the ball, so this also covers the Nike logo on his shorts. It is all very coincidental that Howard is the only player endorsed by Adidas and also the only one to have his logos covered. It could just be an artistic decision that the company claimed, or it could be intentional to make sure that there was no conflict of interest. It's pretty interesting, and one of the conspiracies that actually sound plausible. Heaven's Gate and the Nike Decade. Okay, this is another conspiracy that's pretty out there, but then again, all the facts surrounding the case are pretty wild too. It started with the cult, Heaven's Gate, who believed that Earth was going to be destroyed, or as they called it, recycled, and that they needed to commit suicide to survive this event. They believed that if you do commit suicide, then your soul would travel to some sort of spaceship that would help you survive and take you to a higher existence. Besides their, let's call it interesting, ideas, the real conspiracy came when it was revealed that all 39 members of the cult who committed suicide were wearing the same pair of shoes. It was the Nike Decade, and some people believe that somehow Nike was actually involved with funding the cult. But luckily, there were 2 members of the cult that stayed behind. Apparently, they felt that the rest of the group needed a way to communicate with Earth. But anyway, at least they could explain the origins of those uniform sneakers. Instead of Nike actually sponsoring the shoes in the cult, it was a simple case of a good deal. They explained that they got a really great deal on those shoes, so it made financial sense to buy a pair for everyone in the cult. I guess even when you are planning on taking an extraterrestrial trip, you still need to be stylish and comfortable. But no, in all honesty, it is a relief that the company wasn't involved in any way with this tragedy that took so many lives. Sports brands are really powerful, but with all that power comes a lot of conspiracies. Which ones do you believe?